So one word for spirituality means awareness. When we are not even aware what is happening around us, how can you be aware of what is happening inside you? Spirituality means a person who is intensely aware every nanosecond of what is happening within. Within means not breathing, not blood circulation, not the gastric juices that are secreting in your stomach. Within means what is happening in this factory called your mind. You understand? There's awareness. Forget everything else. If you are constantly aware, not self-conscious, aware doesn't mean becoming self-conscious, fidgeting, becoming feverish. So it is the intellect that can be aware. The nature of mind in you, in me, in any one of us is, it slips into excitement and dejection. The nature of mind in all of us is, the mind is like a child. It gets excited with what happens around us. It gets affected through dejection based on what happens around us. So what is the definition of spirituality? You may ask what basis you are defining it. Defining it based on what the Vedas are saying. It is not Rangarajan's definition of spirituality. What are the Vedas talking about? What is the Bhagavad Gita talking about? What happened to Arjuna, a warrior who was capable of getting rid of an entire army, which he did. He got rid of the entire army. He had that caliber. But he succumbed to the situation in front of him. What succumbed to the situation in front? You can reduce a bit so that the feedback is too much. What succumbed to, this is okay, right? Yes. I don't even need a mic. Ganesh, Janani is on time.
Oh, I dropped her and went off.
Ah, very nice.
She is on time because of me. I dropped her.
Chetan, I'm proving to you. Anu is saying, fantastic lecture, it's a life-changing lecture. Nothing like that, nothing has changed. So spirituality means awareness. Arjuna's mind slipped to what was happening in front of him. It succumbed. And all that Krishna did was to empower his intellect to become aware of what was happening to him. So how do we start it? We start empowering the intellect with awareness based on the environment. First is environment. Because environment is the outermost part of our life. The innermost part of our life is mind, thoughts. So the outermost part of life is environment. That is why there is a beautiful quality highlighted in the Gita and all the scriptures. It is called as Shuchi. Shuchi means aware of impurity and imperfection. Shuchi means cleanliness. That is why you see Shaucham is the quality. Shauchalayam means washroom, right? Shaucha alayam. It is a alayam. Shauchalayam means the washroom. So the word shuchi or shaucham means cleanliness. Cleanliness with reference to the environment. Dexterity with reference to the body and action. These define spirituality. Dexterity means the ability to perform action to the best of your ability. This is dexterity. Nike shoe, it says just do it. When we start doing an action, the mind becomes worried about past, anxious about the results. So with loads and loads of worries and anxieties, people are acting. In spite of that, we are successful. You understand? So the limiting factor, the bottleneck factor is worries and anxieties, not skill. Because if you don't have skill, you won't be sitting in that job. The very fact that you are chosen to do a job, the very fact that you are running a business, the very fact that you are performing an action, skill is there. Vedanta doesn't develop skill. Vedanta will not make you a better engineer. Vedanta doesn't promise that you will become a better physician. What is Vedanta talking about? You will be a person who is aware of what is happening inside you and outside you. So with reference to action, dexterity. When it comes to emotion, shuchi or purity means very aware of how the mind is prone to get attached or become aversion. Attachment and aversion. Excitement and dejection. That's what happens. We get excited. So excited, so excited. How to gain emotional balance? We are asking theoretical questions wherever we go. What is emotional balance? The mind is prone to get excited. It's not that we should suffocate ourselves and not get excited. If a part of you is witnessing as you are exchanging emotions, participating in what is exciting around you, what is dejecting around you, and you are in control of that. One thing is to get involved in it. You are not even aware what is happening. So spiritually perfected person means a person who is fully aware. So you are participating and allowing yourself to go into an experience. You know how to direct that experience. You know how to moderate that experience. You know when and how to withdraw from that experience. This ability is called as spirituality, self-control, all these big words. Emotional. Intellectual point of view, awareness. So what is this awareness? Each and every action, each and every transaction in life, you have to intuit the intellect. Intuit the intellect doesn't mean you have to chant Om, some mantra, some prayer. Intuit the intellect means what is the purpose. Sometimes the wife or the husband says, please go and deliver these documents in someone's house. All that you have to do is just deliver because you have something else to do later. And there you find another friend there, which you did not expect. And that person says, Adrak ka chai and samosa is coming in 2 minutes. Why not you have and go? Entire evening is gone. So the person's intellect is not aware. Before going into an experience, you have to intute the intellect. What is this intuiting the intellect? What am I walking into this door for? What am I getting into this class for? So in that way, you have to intute the intellect. You have to prepare the intellect. You have to employ the intellect. Merely by studying verses, nothing will happen. You understand? It is like buying the best treadmill, best equipments, and your basement is very well decked with all that. But there is no employment of these. There is no association with all this. There will be no physical condition. So in every experience, the intellect has to be intuited. When we came to this place, 2013, just to meet with people, get out of Guptaji's basement, wherever Gary called, wherever people called, we went there. Gary would say, I'm going here, please come for dinner. All the time zucchini and what is it? Dal. Channa and zucchini, channa and zucchini. Channa and zucchini for lunch, zucchini and channa for dinner. Channa and zucchini for lunch, zucchini and channa for dinner. I am being ungrateful to that man. Today we have a center only because of Guptaji. You have to be grateful. But at the age of 80, whatever she could prepare and serve, she served us. So when Gary said, I am going for a function, do you want to come? Is there a dinner? Yes. South Indian dinner definitely is there. He said, I am coming. Whatever be the function, I am not bothered. So I started the trend. The trend is continuing even now. So you go into a party and then you find people introduced. 6, 7 people, 10 people, common friends, they get introduced. And then a discussion starts. We don't know where the discussion is going. We don't know where and how we are getting involved. We don't know what words come out of our mouth. And soon you find that there is a disagreement, difference of opinion. There could be even a fight, fist fight. Next time when you have a function, that person asks, is that person coming? For example, is Vijay coming? Yes, then I am not coming. I am saying Vijay because he is in front. Vijay and Raghu are 2 people for me. Raghu is coming? Yes, I am not coming. He could be a very innocent, pure person. But that experience is tarnished because what does it matter who is a better cricketer, Lara Tendulkar? What does it matter who is a better singer? What does it matter whether Trump should go into the prison or not? What does it matter whether Trudeau is a great leader or not? What am I here for? I am not here for this. Someone is nice to me, they are calling for a holy evening. Someone is nice, they are calling for a Diwali evening. Sense of purpose has to be fixed. This is called intuiting the intellect. Intute the intellect. When you intute the intellect in this way, the intellect doesn't slip. Gross intellect this is. When it comes to subtle intellect, the quality is Shraddha. 2 types of intellects are there. Gross intellect and subtle intellect. Any leader has to have a strong gross intellect. All over people are conducting leadership conferences for children. How can there be any leadership without intellect? It is like 100 blind people. One person is talking about how to see and what to see to the 99 others. All 100 are blind. The person who is talking about what to see and how to see should have at least partial vision. Right, Sati? So, with reference to leadership, intellect is the vital tool. If the intellect is not working, people are living based on whims and fancies of the mind. So leadership means intellect, gross intellect. When it comes to subtle intellect, you employ the subtle intellect in spirituality. If your subtle intellect is not born, if the subtle intellect is not alert, you will not have any spiritual spark. You understand? Be it going to a temple, pilgrimage, seeking knowledge, whatever be the spiritual practice you are associating, if the subtle intellect is dormant in you, there won't be any seeking. Such a person will be stuck with mundane associations in life. In the Shastras, it is called as pig's contentment. You understand pig's contentment? Suppose you bring home a pig and say, brand new pizza I am ordering. Please wait for a few minutes. Will the pig say, okay, with my napkin I'll wait on the dining table? The pig smells and then opens the garbage, right? Which is day before yesterday's food. The moment you open it, that smell we can't tolerate. And how is the pig enjoying that food? Does the pig say it is smelling? Blissfully it is eating. This is what is explained. These are kathas for children given out in the... So as blissfully it is consuming something that is so objectionable to you, a human being is dealing with samsaric things when the capability is very different. The capability of the human being is very different. You can't blame the pig because it doesn't have any higher capability. It is designed like that. But a human being is not designed to get stuck with things. A human being is designed to live with awareness. So this awareness at the level of subtle intellect is called as Shraddha. And the Gita, Krishna says, Shraddhavan labhate jnana. One who is endowed with Shraddha alone will gain knowledge. So what is that Shraddha? Shraddha means constant remembrance of the purpose for which you are doing practices. Understand? Constant remembrance of the purpose for which you are engaging in any spiritual practice. That is Shraddha. The capacity with which you commission the practice, consistency with which you continue, and the stamina with which you face and overcome the challenges in spirituality, spiritual path. This is called as Shraddha. Opposite of Shraddha, Ashraddha means no Shraddha. What happens if you feed this knowledge? Again, Krishna gives it out in the Gita. He says, constant doubts and indecisiveness happens. Will this work? Will this work? Have you found anyone in whose life all this have worked? Understand? So you feed the knowledge. If Shraddha is there, you gain knowledge. You give the information. The information is given to all of us. If the disciple has Shraddha, then the information that the teacher gives, the books give, becomes knowledge. Shraddhavan labade jnana. If that Shraddha quality is missing, what happens also he highlights? We get into non-essentials. What are the non-essentials? Did Krishna and Arjuna actually have a conversation in the battlefield? Is there any historic proof for that? Did it happen 5,000 years back or 8,000 years back? How old was Krishna? 5 horses I see, are they male or female? Did Krishna whip the horse? How dare he cause cruelty to animals? You understand? I am exaggerating the examples. These are not the context of studying Bhagavad Gita. So we get into statistical discussions. We get into so many other distractions. Why? Because Shraddha is not there. It's exactly like you take a patient for a treatment to hospital, chemotherapy. You are waiting outside. The person is going through chemo. You are looking around. This hospital started in a small place. Now look at the square feet. 18,000 square feet hospital. This person must be making a kill. 18, 20 chemotherapies every day. This is your concern outside because you have no problem. The person who is having cancer, will that person be interested whether it is Philips machine, Siemens machine, how many are employed? Are you giving bonus? Are you giving salaries? Will the patient be interested in all this? You understand? So the patient who is interested in getting out of the disease is focusing on the treatment. Someone whose focus is not there, the mind starts dissipating into other channels. So in order to gather this dissipating energies, Shraddha is required. And one way in which the Shraddha, even before we know what it is and gain it, has been shattered is due to the Zoom. What is a blessing at one time becomes a curse later. Like marriage. Children. I need to have children, I need to have children. It's a curse for them. So any aspect of life, curse at one point of time, blessing at another point of time. Blessing at one point of time, curse at another point of time. 3 years it was a blessing. Now it has turned into a curse because there is no physical exertion. You understand? Tapas is a basic fundamental quality in spirituality. Tapas doesn't mean standing on one leg, standing upside down. This is not tapas. Tapas means the ability to perform austerity. Physical effort is tapas. Those of you who attended the classes, 8:45, we used to conduct Gita class here. 8:45, if you have to be here, the closest of person, maybe Pramod, I don't know, Vijay had to leave at 7:45. Pramod, what time you left home? 8:15 at least, you have to leave home. Now 8:45 class, what time you have to hit your computer and switch it on? 8:43, 8:44. Oh, at that time you switch on. What is happening? Tamas, beyond the point, tamas. It's a necessary evil. We have started this. We don't know what to do now. We are stuck with this Zoom. What was blessing at one point of time is a curse at another point of time. So there has to be effort at least once in a while. So what was your spirituality? It is not 8:45 to 10 a.m. Previous night, Saturday, if you are going somewhere, you have to think of next day's class. 8:45, I have to get to South Common. I have to go for the Gita class. 8:45, if you have to be here for the class, You have to go to bed at a particular time. You have to eat dinner at a particular time. So your spiritual thought association to align yourself for Gita class has started the previous day. You understand? It's not 1 hour of class. You are constantly associating and directing your efforts, your attention to prepare yourself to be there. All that is missing now. So at least once in 8 weeks, once in 12 weeks, to see if we can have that Shraddha. That is the purpose. That is why it is called Shraddha. Shraddhavan labate jnana, which includes for me as well. You understand? Most convenient is for me, trust me. So tamas breeds when there is no physical effort. So there has to be a mild physical effort to see if we can push ourselves. That is the reason. That is why they built temples on hilltops and made people climb. Now we are talking about helipad in Tirupati and all these places. Kailash, all the places. Why they built it on hilltop? Because there has to be that strenuous effort. You are breaking that physical capacity. How many of you are watching IPL? How many of you are cricket fans at least? All the players that have come from other countries, England, South Africa, Australia, it could be even West Indies, all the time they complain about Indian weather, Indian pitches, Indian weather, Indian pitches. Any one of the fellow complaining now? Foreign players? They are sweating to death in Indian summer. Do you find anyone complaining? Loads and loads of money, no complaints. When you represent your nation where money is less, pitch is not good, food is not good, air is not good, AC is not working, shower is not working, sweating India, trains are no good, flights are no good, all types of complaints. You understand? This is the mind. The moment we associate ourselves with anything higher, the mind starts crying like a child. At that point of time, there has to be the strain. So when you climb 10 steps, it is strenuous. When you climb Tirupati hill, I don't know how many of you have climbed. Babu, climb Tirupati hill. So you climb the Tirupati hill. You have not done promo. We can't even say we will do it in a team, huh? Because Govinda is very dangerous lady. He will make that happen within few days. So sometime any one of you can try. When you climb the hill, at that time, it is so fatiguing. Govinda, 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 Govinda. People shout. Someone shouts somewhere. The moment someone shouts Govinda, Govinda, what happens? Everyone shouts. You get that energy and you pick yourself up and walk and walk and walk. First night or first night or 25th anniversary. Suppose it is 7 hills. Someone gives you a free ticket, free room. Climb up. Will you go up? Climb 7 hills and go. It's the same partner, same fight. I can do it in my room. Same fight, same argument, same dispute. Where is the inspiration? So when you associate with higher, there is inspiration with which you gain the capacity to break from the lower. You understand? That is why no one climbs down the mountain. After you have seen the Lord, there is no energy even to sit in a bus. But before you see the Lord, that inspiration, I'm going to see Balaji, I'm going to see Ayyappa, I'm going to see Shiva. This inspires a person to climb. It can be any deity of your heart. So Shraddha, in order to develop the Shraddha, that self-belief in a person that I can break these challenges, they created so many opportunities. That is why gaining knowledge was not very easy, it was neither very difficult. Neither very easy nor very difficult. There was tapas included in it. There was a factor of tapas associated with it. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa did not give the knowledge so easily to Vivekananda. Tapon Maharaj did not give the knowledge so easily to Chinmayananda. He ensured that the person is qualified. Then he gave his life for the disciple. Why such a big ego for spiritual masters? Spiritual masters don't have ego. They want to ensure that we are ready for that strenuous, challenging inner pursuit. for which the entire path one practices awareness. So this awareness at the level of subtle intellect is called as Shraddha. That is the purpose. Questions?
The first question is from Divya Bhatt, and the reference is the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 10, from the Sunday Gita class. Intensity, frequency, and recovery are three factors of assessing spiritual growth. A, while explaining, you mentioned 3 points of growth in spirituality. One of them is recovery, or how quickly you bounce back to normalcy. I find this difficult. How can one practice?
Sometimes the way Kunal reads the question is so interesting. No one wants to answer. We have the answer. I don't know why Swarna picks Kunal again and again. Intensity, frequency, recovery. Now what we are talking about is, this was a verse where desire and modifications, for those who did not attend the class, and for those majority who have forgotten what we discussed in the class. Desire and modifications. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya. Desire and modifications. What are the modifications? Anger, fear, jealousy, hatred, craving, avarice, delusion. These are the modifications of desire. Without desire, these negative emotions cannot happen in a person. Psychology attends to these symptoms individually. Vedanta goes to the root and says it is the ungoverned desire that is modifying in these ways. How they modify, that will take 1.5 hours to explain. We are not getting into that because Divya is asking a question based on that. So how these desires, when they are not managed by the intellect, by the individual, modify into negative emotion was the context. As you pursue this knowledge, gain this knowledge, what happens is, you feel that you are not moving at all. Nothing is happening. Same desires, same anger I get, I lose my temper, same fear, I'm afraid of things, what will happen, stock market, what will happen, mother-in-law is visiting for 2 months, summer, whatever be the fears. So anger, fear, jealousy, avarice, attachment, aversion, they are not gone. So if we feel that maybe knowledge will not work, I will do something else. I will try Hatha Yoga. And then you go there. That also after a while doesn't work. Then you do something else. So, what is the test of spiritual growth in the short term? You don't talk about reduction and elimination of desires. That was the context. How you have to, if at all, you have to measure. Ideal is you don't measure. It is your blood sample that is taken for blood works. But who is the person who is best to read it? Report. Doctor. You take the report and give it to my blood, my body. Don't I know what it is? You know your blood, you know your body, but you don't know what is happening inside it. It's a specialized knowledge. So similarly, with reference to spirituality, we cannot assess our own growth because it requires a lot of objectivity. But if at all, there has to be an understanding of what is spiritual growth with reference to these desires and modifications. 3 factors, that is what was spoken in the class. Intensity with which the desire is bothering you. Frequency at which it is repeating in your mind. The third is, because of a slip, because of an affectation, because of an agitation, how well you are able to bounce back to normalcy. 3 factors. You understand, Captain? The intensity with which the desire is compelling you. What is that compulsiveness? It could be for eating a particular type of food. It could be for a drink. It could be for watching a game. Desire means compulsion. What is wrong with desire? Nothing may be per se wrong with desire as long as you know how to manage and handle it. The problem is the desire becomes a very compelling force in a person. It becomes an obsession. It becomes a craving. So the intensity with which it is compelling you now, vis-a-vis how intensely it was compelling you 6 months back, 1 year back. So if you find 50 units then, 45 units now, you've grown. Desire is not gone, compulsiveness is not gone, but still the units have reduced. You understand? It is growing, but it is a negative growth. The desire negativities are growing, but it is not growing exponentially as before. So first factor, intensity. The second factor is frequency. How frequently it keeps bothering the person. How frequently it slips out of our hand. Third is, when such a thing happens, how quickly you are able to bounce back to normalcy. It could be fear, it could be anger, it could be agitation due to aversion. Someone says some insulting words. How quickly we are able to bounce back to normalcy. So these three will be short-term indicators of spiritual progress. Long-term indicators is getting rid of the desires and negativities. That will not happen overnight. But short-term, what happens is, these three factors with reference to which you can know that you are in the right direction. Why is that we are not able to follow the three? More specifically, the question is with reference to bouncing back to normalcy. So if one finds it difficult, what could be the reason? Affectation is directly proportional to identification. In any situation in life, your affectation is directly proportional to how much your mind identifies with it. You understand? Mind identifies with something because of desires or attachment. Two things. Where the desire is very strong, attachment is very intense, the mind helplessly identifies. It is dependent. So we are not able to bounce back to normalcy in case of certain experiences of life because the pressure of desire, the pressure of attachment, the pressure of modification is much, much stronger than the intellectual stamina. You understand? It is like recovering from a loss. There are companies that can make loss for 3-4 years, but still they can run, they can pay salaries because they have reservoir of funds they have kept aside. There are companies even for a month if they make loss, next month they can't. They don't even have working capital, they can't continue, they have to shut down. So the ability to bounce back is not there because there is no backup. Similarly, the backup in life is that intellectual strength, objectivity. So what is the reason because of which in certain instances we are not able to bounce back? It's a common situation. The situation is, at that point of time, in that particular aspect of life, the mind has an intense identification. The objectivity of intellect is not good enough to salvage the mind. Therefore, it affects us so deeply, we are not able to bounce back. You understand? Anyone saying that is okay. My guru said that about me. You understand? Pramod says something about me, I am not bothered. My guru said. Same word. Pramod could have been nastier than my guru. But why is it affecting me? Because my mind has a value, very intense value in that direction. Right, Pramod? Does that mean you should not regard anyone's opinion at all and become indifferent? No. You can value words with your intellect. You don't have to value opinions with mind. We start valuing people's opinions through the mind. We expect them to fit into a particular language. We expect them to fit into a particular description about us. We want a particular opinion. So what is the reason that we are not able to bounce back? Affectation is directly proportional to identification. How intensely we identify. It shows the extent of value the person has for that commodity, for that person, for that entity, for that experience. You understand what I'm saying? So, bounce back doesn't mean you come back as though nothing has happened. Bounce back means you have learned a lesson from that particular episode, from that particular action. Next time when it repeats, even before it happens, you are preemptive. This is called bouncing back. You understand, Arvind? Bouncing back is not indifference. You say what you want, I'll be like this. You say nasty words, whatever happens. I have bounced back. I heard, I was affected for a second. Next second I have bounced back. Why? He called me idiot. He's a double idiot. I also have another So I have bounced back to normalcy. I have my own way of bouncing back. This is not bouncing back. Bouncing back means you have done a thorough investigation of what happened there and why your mind got affected. You have prepared a prescription to insulate your mind next time the situation presents. This is called bouncing back. You understand? You've seen it happening in sports. Twice a bowler gets a batsman outside the off stick. After that, 3-4 coaches, they go and prepare that batsman. Outside the off stick deliveries, continuously he is bowled. Either he is taught to leave those deliveries or he is taught to deal with those deliveries. You understand? This is called bouncing back. Bouncing back means not somehow coming back, wounded. Bouncing back means you have overcome that deficiency. Why we are not able to do it? Because we become very emotional about it. We are not rational about it. You understand? At that point of time, we will be emotional. Whatever be that situation, the mind is affected. But this knowledge and the intellect should have a sense of examination of it. So if we are able to do that examination, you can bounce back to normalcy. Next time it happens, you are empowered. Beautifully demonstrated in the Mahabharata. When the Pancha Pandavas were in disguise, Krishna chose the profile for all 5 of them. Bhima mercilessly ate. So he was given duty in the kitchen. Arjuna had that pride that I am so handsome, I am so powerful, I am so skilled in warfare. What was the disguise Krishna gave him? Lady. Napunshaka. Right? Neither a man nor a lady. For a man to be called, don't worry about discrimination, gender, so and all. For a man to be called a lady itself is very difficult to handle. For a person who has that male chauvinism. If you have sense of humor, you say, yes, I am a lady like my partner, my wife, like my mother. I wish I can be like that someday. What will the other fellow do? You are like a lady. Yes, I am like my mother. Suppose you say. What will the other fellow say? He is trying to insult you with calling you a lady. And you are glorifying that by saying, yes, I am like my mother. But how dare you call me a lady? And then wife looking at you, excuse me? You think it is so silly to be a lady? One enemy already in front of you. Now you picked another enemy. So how we handle it in that situation? Arjuna could not, because that male ego was so dominant in him because of his skill. He gave him the task. Yudhishthira was the royal entertainer. He had that weakness for game of dice. That is why the whole Mahabharata happened. So through the Ajnanavas final year, he had to play dice with the king. So his only purpose was to serve that last year incognito. He was not interested in winning or losing. You understand? So Krishna gave 5 different tasks to 5 Pandavas in such a way they will overcome their weakness and become ready for the battle. They did not require archery, they did not require skill. In spite of that, Arjuna buckled. Because 1 year is not enough. Vedanta Academy itself requires 3 years. How is 1 year enough to overcome all that? So this is called as bouncing back.
In the same lecture you said, letting go of something is an effect, not practice. Can you please explain?
I've explained that. What does that people say when you say this is what happened? Let go of it, let go of it. How can you let go of it? I can say let go of it because it is not affecting me. Don't keep it inside you, let go of it, let go of it. I can give a lecture because it's not affecting me. When it is affecting you, how can you let go of it? You cannot let go of it. So this letting go is not a practice. It's exactly like, how can I be rich and fortunate in life? Open an account in TD Bank and put $1 million. Correct? Question is where to get that $1 million from? You understand? How to be financially self-sufficient? This is my question. Raghu says, I'll take you to the TD Bank, open an account, and put $1 million in the account, you will be financially self-sufficient. Correct? Where to bring that $1 million from? No, that is your problem. How have you helped me? You understand? So same way, when a person says, this is my problem, let go of it. Beautiful phrase, but how does it help that person? You can't let go of something that is so intensely residing in you and bothering you. right? So letting go is not a practice, it is an effect of practicing something. In what way it is an effect and what is the practice? Practice is intellectual examination and empowerment. In this area, I have a vulnerability of mind. One has to understand it. It is not the person that is insulting me. It is not the words that is insulting me. It is how I am identifying with it. My mind is susceptible. So I need to fortify myself. Because that person is not teasing anyone else. In a party, you see again and again everyone teases the same person. Why? Because that person gives value for it. If you don't give value for it, if you don't intensely identify with it, they keep passing. So, to bring it into oneself and understand that I have to do some work inside me is the practice. Because of which letting go happens. Next time when it happens, this is his guna, this is his nature. Let him talk. Whatever way you handle it. Or if you are very sharp, you can give it back. Very, very sharp means you can give it back also. Understand? Give it back very objectively. Not with anger and frustration. Next.
Question from Gita Nandini. When we move up in the spiritual path, the intensity and frequency of our desires are reduced. The first thing we are aware of is guilt from our past erred actions. Question: how do we know that we are not performing our future actions due to guilt towards someone we have wronged, but from gratitude and love? What's the right type of attitude towards action to be followed?
What Gitanandani is asking is, I have done something wrong to someone, I feel guilty. Knowledge has made me aware. This knowledge makes you aware. That is how we started the class. Knowledge makes you aware. So, I have become guilty. I feel guilty because of doing wrong in some context. So, towards that person now, I want to compensate. So, how do I differentiate whether I am acting from guilt because of past, or I am having gratitude and love? What is the answer? How will you test it? See, this one we should do group discussions. Those who are doing e-learning are having that maja. 1 hour group discussion, 1.5 hours it goes. I don't know how it sounds for you, but 1 hour is the review. Sometimes 1.5 hours, 1 hour 40 minutes it goes on. Because when you discuss, it comes out of you. So it has to be extracted. And now I am imposing more and more words. In the class I am speaking words. Here with a question I am throwing more words. There is no difference. But when you engage your intellectual muscles, you don't have to get the right answer, but you are trying. When you try, your intellect opens up. Your intellect becomes sharp. You know how to work with situations. First it starts theoretically, then it becomes concurrent to your life. Understand? This is called manana, reflection. So how do you know you are not acting from guilt and you are acting out of gratitude and love? Agam? Anyone can try.
I guess you can ask yourself, what's the intention? And if it's a selfish intention, if you're expecting something back, then it's guilt. If you're expecting gratitude or...
Very close, very close. You use the right word. Gratitude and love are not person or people specific. This is the mistake we do. I am very grateful and loving towards you, but Pradeep I hate. The moment I say that, it is selfishness that is promoting it. Whether the guilt is happening, the selfishness is happening through guilt, or selfishness is happening through any other way, selfishness is hiding. I am grateful to you, Vijay, and I love you. But don't ask me to show the same affection and emotion to Pradeep. I can't even tolerate him, suppose I say. Why is that I have this differential gratitude and differential love? Because you are catering to me in some way. Pradeep is not catering to me like that. You understand, Pradeep? But what is true gratitude and true love? It is not based on what others do. When you have true gratitude and true love, which is what spiritual practices bestow in a person, you appreciate what others are doing for you. But your gratitude and love doesn't change based on that. If it is changing based on that, it is a business transaction. I am grateful because you are doing something. So to others, I don't have to be grateful. To others, I don't have to show any love, affection, no nothing. No identification. So this type of preferential relationship itself shows that the person is still operating from selfishness. So the test of true gratitude and love coming out of spiritual maturity is, that is why we quote extreme examples. When Gandhi was shot, he said, "Hey Ram," and he died. Neutral words. He didn't say, "Idiot, why did you kill me?" When Christ was put on cross, the words we read in the book is, "Father, forgive them. They know not what they do." A child has a sharp needle. It pokes your mother, the child's grandmother, and the grandmother is bleeding. And you get up with your hands in temper. What will the grandmother say? "Put one more. Slap." She say, "Give 5 more. What do you say? Child, she poked me once, you have poked me 10 times when you were a child. This is what the mother will say. Right, Vijay? Vivek is poking once, you poked me 100 times, 10,000 times. So where is the forgiveness coming from? The forgiveness is coming from the love, all these affections are coming from one's elevation. The person is elevated. The person understands this is how the child will function. So the word guilt is used here. Guilt is the worst thing a person can have. If the problem is, any situation we convert it into an ethical issue, we become guilty about it. And the mind in all of us is an expert to convert everything into an ethical issue. Where we should not bring ethics, we bring ethics and create a guilt. You understand? And the moment you have created guilt inside you, there is no escape. Because guilt is something that kills a person from within constantly. So what does Vedanta say? There's a verse in the Gita which says, "Guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate." Whatever gunas you have, so will be the action. What is the point in becoming guilty or becoming appreciative, excited about it? Understand this is the guna that is residing in you. If you don't want this action to come out of you, you have to do something about the guna that is residing in you. Understand? If you don't change the guna, those actions will keep coming out. So whether it is you or others, this is how the human mechanism functions. Guilt is the worst thing. What is happening in guilt? Guilt means desires, the pressure of desires exceeding your intellectual conviction or conscience. This is when you feel guilty. Guilt means you perform an action or entertain a thought. A part of you says do it, a part of you says don't do it. What is that part which says do it? Mind. What is the part which says don't do it? Intellect and conscience. If the mind is stronger, intellect and conscience is weaker, you will do it. After the pressure of the mind ceases, you feel guilty. This is guilt. So the moment we succumb to guilt, there is no escape from it. If another person whips you, you can run away. If a part of you is whipping you, there is no escape.
Question from Dina. Reference is Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, verse 9 and 10. What is the process to step by step abandon the ego and take refuge in Krishna?
Step by step installment you want to abandon. Entire ego, if I tell you how to abandon, you don't want to abandon. 5% you teach today, 95% I'll keep it. Whenever my mood permits, I'll come and ask you. Another 5% after that. What is the way to abandon ego, take refuge in higher, in Krishna? Because Krishna talks about it in the verse, in that particular verse. Mamekam, come to me, he says. The way ego works is where it associates. You're sitting inside the house. Your servant makes a phone call. So someone says, "Mom, servant is calling. Ask her what she wants." She is saying she wants 1 day leave. Ask her why she wants 1 day leave. She says she has to go to temple. What suddenly religion temple she wants to go? Tell her to come, do jadu pocha and go to the temple. 5 minutes later, "Mom, your boss is calling." Will you say, "Ask him what he wants"? You can say, provided you have your resignation letter ready. Same individual. Servant calls you, act differently. Employer calls you, act differently. Why this difference? The point is that you are not interested to take the phone call. I don't want to receive any phone call. I am watching a movie. How does it make a difference whether servant is calling or boss is calling? The individual is the same, situation is the same. Correct? So with reference to the lower, the ego becomes prominent. With reference to the higher, the ego subdues even if it doesn't like. So how to get rid of ego? What is the way? Derive from it. If Krishna is higher to you, then ego should subdue to Krishna. When Krishna and Rama lived, biggest of egos were living along with him. If biggest of egos did not live with Rama and Krishna, we will not have Ramayana and Mahabharata. You understand? The existence of a Krishna or Rama around us will not do anything to our ego. It will not do anything to our ego. The question is the recognition of higher and what work a person does. Karma yoga will help in reducing the ego, nothing else. Knowledge will make a person more arrogant. You understand? I know exactly what's wrong with you. This is how I feel if I have knowledge. Nothing may be wrong with you, Satya. I'm just giving an example. I know exactly what is wrong with everyone here. Tamasic person, excessively Rajasic person, weakly Sattvic person. I can label, and it would be right also. What are you? That I have never thought about. The only person you should think about is yourself, based on the knowledge. That we don't think, but we know to label others. So knowledge to start with, Pandita Lakshanam Dosha Darisanam it is called. The moment you become a Pandita means well informed in these words. You see only mistakes around people. So what is the way to get rid of it? The moment you start doing some karma, your ego becomes subdued. That is why when students had to go to Padashala and learn, they kept Bhiksha as the way. Bhiksha, you understand? Bhiksha means prema, begging. They had to go to the village nearby, beg for food. Not only for them, for the Guru and Guru Mata also. So you can't say, Amma, Bhavati Bhiksham Devi. Yesterday you gave rice, today you are giving roti. Tomorrow can I expect pizza? She'll throw you out of the house. So how demeaning it is for a student to go and ask for a bhiksha. When you do karma, what is that karma? Just example I'm saying. There is a Vedanta class happening. I have benefited from it. Why don't you drop in and check it out? I know you are going through situations and like this. Knowledge can be very useful. Why is that we are afraid even to refer this? Someone referred, that is why you are sitting here. Someone referred, that is why I got the knowledge, right? I did not find my guru. I did not find these books. Someone did the work as a result of which it came to my door. Someone did work as a result of which it came to your door. Why is that you are not interested in pushing the cart to the next door? What will he think of me? What will she think of me? To put this ego down, karma yoga has to be done. You understand? Without karma yoga, knowledge will not work. You will have a feel-good factor. You will feel guilty sitting in LCBO. You will feel sacred sitting in Gita class. Both are feelings. You understand? Both are feelings. You are intoxicating yourself with a particular type of feeling there. You are intoxicating yourself with a different type of feeling here. Evolution is not happening. Evolution happens when karma yoga, when work is done for unselfish cause. What is called here as volunteering. No axe to grind, no results to take. First result of karma yoga is disappointment, non-acceptance, no results. This will be the first result. That is why in the stories there's an equal. Milky Ocean was churned. When the Milky Ocean was churned, what came out first? Did nectar come out first? Poison came out first. So Milky Ocean represents the mind. Devas and Asuras with the serpent Vasuki churning the Milky Ocean represents the positive and negative tendencies and the ego working on your mind. What comes out of it? Poison alone comes out of it. And then you take the poison to who? Where did they take? Shiva. That is why he is called Neelakanta. He drank the poison and said, don't worry, because wherever you keep this poison, the world will be poisoned. Someone will be poisoned. I will drink that poison. And his wife came and choked his neck in the right proportion. So it neither went to the heart nor the poison went to the head. It stayed in the throat. That is why he is called as Neelakanta. All these are stories. What is that poison? Poison means all these ill reputations, whatever, kickbacks. When you started handicare, how many years before you started here?
21.
Next time I should ask Solomon to talk. 31 years back. 31 years back. People would have said, idiot she is. What is she doing here? Instead of coming here, taking immigration, building houses, buying apartments, buying this one, developing a family for sick kids, for handicapped children in India. Who will give money? Who will buy land? What is the acre today? 30 acres, 40 acres?
40 acres, but the number of children we have expanded to
More
more than
than
25,000.
25,000 children of special needs are taken care of. But first day, I am sure no one would have given check. They would have lost friends. Suppose I start a charity. We want to build a temple. Captain, I am building a temple. There are already so many temples. What are you going to do? You think people would say, I have set aside $5 million. I am waiting for someone to build a temple. Please take the check. Something wrong with you if someone does that. You understand? So how to get rid of ego? When you start doing something unselfish, you know how much value you have for this little individual who is consuming everything from others. We are consuming constantly from the society. You may say, no, I am paying my house rent, I am paying my mortgage, I am not consuming from anyone. Who came here and started the first groceries? People who were early settlers who came here, few people would have been there. And I have heard from Captain, I have heard from Dr. Lakshman. They used to drive 2 hours to buy dal, rice, and they buy in bags and divide it here. They all used to meet here and divide because groceries are not available. Today, every nook and corner grocery is available. Every nook and corner temples are available. Every nook and corner Vedanta classes are available. Who made all this available to you? What is that you have done in order to deserve that in your bedroom? When you ask this question, you challenge your ego. If I challenge your ego, it will not be acceptable. If you challenge my ego, it will insult me. But if I challenge my ego, evolution happens. So what is the way to step by step abandon? Okay, you don't want to abandon all at once. Step by step try to do some karma yoga. Next.
Question by Gita Nandini. Self-realized transcends the 3 states of conditioned consciousness and reaches the 4th state, Turiya. When Sanchita Vasanas are exhausted and Prarabdha alone remains, how does Prarabdha function through the 3 states? Does that mean, as a waker, he is disengaged and dispassionate towards the external world, no thoughts and desires, resulting in no dreams and no casual body or unmanifested vasanas, present in deep sleep state, only pure consciousness in all 3 states?
What Gita Nandini is asking is, self-realized transcends 3 states, reaches Turiya. Sanchita vasanas are exhausted, Prarabdha alone remains. This is the problem. The problem is we mix too many concepts in one question. This is a recipe for confusion. Either you define self-realization as Turiya. Turiya means waking, dream, deep sleep have been transcended. Right? So when the person has reached the 4th state of consciousness, waking, dream, deep sleep have been transcended. Very clear. You understand, Pramod? How is that the person transcends waking, dream and deep sleep? Transcending deep sleep I understand. Transcending dream I understand because I am in waking state. If we say self-realized person, that means the person will suddenly pop out of this world. We can't intellectually understand it. Inside the dream, can you understand waking up to a higher state of consciousness called waking state? Inside the dream, can you understand that? Can you understand the entire dream world in front of you and the dream ego identity that you celebrate can dissolve and a higher state of consciousness can happen? Can you understand that inside the dream? When you are going through a dream experience, can you consciously remember that you are Pramod belonging to waking state living in Mississauga? Whatever be your experience in dream, you cannot. So in any lower state, the knowledge of higher state is obscure. So a person who has transcended the 3 state defines it as Turiya. What is that experience of self-realization? You ask the person. He says it is not waking, dream, deep sleep. It is 4th. Turiya. 4th means It is not the three states of experience. This is one way of indicating it. Another way of indicating is it is extinction of sanchita vasanas. Prarabdha vasanas are there. But if you mix these two concepts and then ask a question, one concept itself it cannot be indicated, I'm saying. You understand? So what she is saying is, if prarabdha vasanas are remaining, what will be happening to that person in waking, dream, deep sleep? What will be happening to that person in gross, subtle, causal body? Will that person be going through dream? Yes, prarabdha vasanas, prarabdha dream. Will that person be going through agitation? Yes, prarabdha vasanas, prarabdha agitation. You understand? We get into absurdities. So the problem is we are mixing levels. The three states known to us, any one of us, is waking, dream, deep sleep. Based on this, the Vedas are trying to project and indicate what that state of unconditioned consciousness is, what that state of moksha is. It is an indication, it is not a definition. Next.
Question from Pramod, reference Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 35. Lord Krishna refers to abhyasa, practice, and vairagya, dispassion, as the two important elements to control the mind. Question: how does a seeker, especially a householder with multiple obligations or duties towards family, work, community, etc., develop dispassion and practice it? Please expound on these two concepts.
Can you give the answer also, Aparna? You are there. You are saying with a daughter like this, how can I practice abhyasa vairagya? It is your problem. How can I answer your problem? Abhyasa and vairagya are for samsari alone. Vairagyam is required only to a person who has created circles from ragam. Ragam means likes. Dvesham means dislikes. Who has created an environment, who has created a family, who has created a circle, who has created the samsara based on likes and dislikes? You, me, all of us. Right? So vairagyam is a practice only for samsara. Sannyasi doesn't require it. Sannyasi is a person who is freed from ragadvesha. He doesn't require it. So abhyasam and vairagyam. How does a seeker, especially a householder with multiple obligations, practice it? Seeker means a person who is convinced my only obligation in life is to realize the self. Seeker means a person who has understood my only obligation in life is to realize the self. That doesn't mean there are no other obligations in life. Other duties, obligations are self-created. You understand? If you did not marry and have a partner, taking care of her, is it an obligation? You understand, Pramod? Married to Swarna. Suppose I am not married. Am I obliged to take care of an individual in this world called Swarna? If we are not married, is she obliged to attend to my needs as a spouse? I am also a citizen in the world. There is no obligation. So obligations, these obligations are coming because of self-created. They are self-created. But there is an obligation which has not come because of association with the world. What is that obligation? Realizing your identity. You understand? In that way, it is not an obligation that you have picked up here. So seeker means a person who has understood foremost of my obligations is realizing the self. In and through a life that is dedicated for knowledge, for realization, effortlessly he can deliver other obligations. This is when we can use this heavy word seeker. So how does a seeker who is an householder with multiple, the moment you say seeker, he has balanced all this. He knows how to take his pursuit to evolution. He knows how to cater to the family, what is to be done. That is why in the previous class I said, okay, son and daughter, business we have created, friends we have created, various groups we have created, got entangled into all this. Having got the knowledge, at least don't keep furthering it. You understand? The knowledge says, there's no space, there's no time for me in life to do anything. Even to go to a gym, forget Vedanta class. To go out for a walk, there is no time. Where is the question of aspiring for realization? At this point, do you go on increasing your samsara or at least try not to increase the samsara? You understand what I'm saying? So if this type of a thought process has happened, you can call that person a seeker. Or else, how does an individual who is pursuing this knowledge, how does the person practice vairagyam and abhyasa? Vairagya is a result of jnana abhyasam. Two abhyasas you can do. Karma abhyasam, jnana abhyasam. Householder means what? A person who has duties and obligations. Nowhere it can interfere with your gaining of knowledge. Understand? Unless Maithili comes and snatches the book from your hand. Understand? Rarely you have situations where the house becomes hostile to do any spiritual practice. Very rarely. One in a 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 will have such problems. In taking knowledge, there is no problem. In being unselfish and practicing this attitude of sharing, giving, there is no problem. You don't have to start an NGO for that. At workplace, what is the attitude with which we are working? When we come here, what is the attitude with which we are coming here? So, how does a person perform these two practices? Vairagyam, dispassion, is practiced by not increasing the circles of attachment. You understand? Bigger and bigger homes all of us are requiring when family is becoming smaller and smaller. Because we have things that we don't use, but we have not developed the capacity to get rid of it and give it. After our lifetime, people who clear the house will be scolding. This man had this unopened iWatch. He neither used it nor gave it. Understand? So at least start getting rid of things that you don't need. This is called as practicing vairagya. What is the abhyasa? Jnana abhyasa. All of you without exception can do that. Jnana abhyasa. Om Sahana Vavatu, you are chanting. How many of you can chant? Pratasmarami is there. How many of you can chant? How many of you can chant the Gita? Munni Badnama CD, all of you have. Bhagavad Gita CD, how many of you have? Where is Bhumika? Bhumi, can we chant? One person with whom I have nothing to do with Vedanta is chanting. 100 people with whom I have everything to do with Vedanta don't know anything. If not Jnana Abhyasam, at least chanting Abhyasam start. So what is that as a householder we can do? Karma Abhyasam, Jnana Abhyasam. And then how can you practice Vairagya? The result of it is Vairagya. But how is that we can consciously practice it? By not unnecessarily expanding these circles of identification. Son and daughter get married. Grandchildren will happen. We don't have to disown by saying, I am studying Vedanta. Don't call me granddad. Why? Because I am not expanding my circle. I am contracting it. It's better you expand. So it is not in rejecting relationships. It is how a person understands it. This is exactly how my mind got infatuated when I saw my son, my daughter just born. Same way my mind is getting excited with my grandson, my granddaughter. Where is this going to end? Why should it end, sir? 4 we have, 1 more is expected, 5th we want 2 more. Suppose you say that, okay, congratulations. Nothing can be said, huh, Babu? At some point of time, you should say, Punarapi Jaranam, Punarapi Maranam. How long it is going to go? Next womb, what is waiting, do you know? Comfortably all of us are sitting. Someone is giving a house, I am also sitting and talking Vedanta. Next womb where? It could be Dharavi. It could be Ethiopia. What karma bag is waiting next? If that doesn't bother, where is Vairagya? So Jnana Abhyasam will create that mumukshatva. That is Vairagya. Next.
Question from Kanan. What is wrong with desires for worldly pleasures? Good food, lust, other luxuries? How can we avoid them in our pursuit of the supreme knowledge?
If I say nothing is wrong, why do you want to avoid? Where is Kannan? Food. Jigna, where is Jigna? Give the prasad plate last to him. What is wrong with it? Because others are also there. Enjoy food, but others are also there. Let us all enjoy together. So what is wrong with desires? This is the only religion that talks about, Sanatana Dharma talks about self-restraint. And it is the same lineage of rishis that wrote the Kama Sutras also. Huh? You know the text, right? You don't know. We are not selling it here. Don't go on asking. I am giving you two opposite angles. You understand? The same lineage of rishis that said, Aham Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, is the same lineage of rishis that built a temple and said, this is God. The same lineage of rishis that said, Brahmam Ekam, it is one, Advayam, or the same lineage of rishis who created Shiva, Vishnu, Ganesha, Hanuman, Kubera, Lakshmi, all this. Such diametrically opposed. So the religion which says man minus desires equals God is the same Sanatana Dharma that talks about what happens when you leave your desires unattended. Desires, nothing wrong. Two words, remember. Appreciation and craving. Only a human being can appreciate. Right? Beautiful hall, well laid out PowerPoint, audio is working well. If you bring a donkey or a buffalo, will it say very nice hall? It can't. You spray perfume. Will the dog in your house know the difference between a very good perfume and a very poor perfume? The dog will not know. It doesn't appreciate. Whether you take the dog in Tesla or you put it in a Uber cab, will the dog know any difference? Rolls-Royce car and Tesla and Corolla. There is no appreciation even for the dog. But a human being can appreciate things in life. The problem is, the moment we appreciate, the mind covets that and says, I want it. This is the backdrop of Ramayana. The golden deer was passing. Sita said, I want it. Lakshmana said, I also saw it, so beautiful. But my mind doesn't ask for it. She said, doesn't matter, I want it. If Sita did not want that golden deer, we would have missed Ramayana. So what is Ramayana talking about? It's not talking about golden deer. Did Rama shoot? All these are, you understand? We get distracted into stories. What it is talking about it is, in world, you have a choice to appreciate something and leave it there. What should be appreciated and left there? What should be appreciated and aspired for? This vivekam you should have. This differentiation you should have. If you don't have, you keep gathering desires that hurt you. You understand? So, what is Vedanta talking about in management of desires? It says, if you deny yourself desires, what you are calling as appreciation for good food, enjoyment, pleasures, if we say no in the same of religion, we will be frustrated. This denial will cause frustration. That is why you see nations or cultures where there is a lot of cramping, there's too much of frustration, they explode. An indulgent culture becomes neutralized to everything, addicted. You understand? A culture that is indulgent has no value at all. In a classroom, I can't give examples. At least I belong to a generation where the word girlfriend, boyfriend, I came to know only much later. You understand? 2 days if a school mate, I take home a girl, my mother will ask what's happening. Ma, she is coming for notes. What notes? You are failing in all subjects. Your notes is one tight slap she would give. Today, if a boy 14 doesn't have a girlfriend, parents are taking to psychiatrist. Actually, I'm not exaggerating. 16 years he doesn't have a girlfriend. You understand? So, when the opposite of it is a very indulgent culture. In a very indulgent culture, what happens is we lose value for things. What is losing value for things? If you are not there, another person is already waiting. Get lost. No value for people. So Vedanta says, don't deny yourself, don't indulge in things. Take the middle path. Take the middle path. And what is that middle path? Again, it will take a long time to explain. You did Sanatana Dharma, right? Wellness Vedanta. Do it, 8 sessions, of which one is talking about how to walk this middle path. Entire life, Buddha, Kshatriya king, spoke about middle path. A king teaches middle path. What is that middle path? So nothing wrong. How can you avoid them in the pursuit of supreme knowledge? You don't have to avoid, you have to give it the right place. The dirtiest part of your house is the washroom. Correct? The cleanest part of your house could be the mandir. Can you have 5 mandirs inside the house, no washroom at all? You give the dirtiest part of the house, which is washroom, a particular place. You give the cleanest part of your house, which is the temple, a particular place. You have to give a place for kitchen. You have to give a place for your pets. Everything should be in its place. And you should know how to give a place for things. If you know that, you can have desires. If we don't know that, those desires are ruling us. Next.
Question from Prema. How can we ensure that the knowledge we receive in the class is available in our head as life happens to us? How is alertness of the mind possible?
If it is not in your head, what else is in your head? Head is so small, if this knowledge is not there, something else should be there, right? I am answering. Something else should be there. What is that is there? If the knowledge is not coming when we perform that action, something else is coming. Arjuna asks Krishna, all this is beautiful, control of mind, brahmacharyam, satyam, ahimsa, evolution, realization, beautiful lecture Krishna, free lecture you gave. But I don't think it is possible to practice all this. This is what in 6th chapter Arjuna tells Krishna. And he asks Krishna, what do you say? Asamshayam mahabaho. Without doubt what you are saying is right. All this cannot be practiced. But abhyasena vairagyena. That is why Pramod is asking the question. Little bit practice you do, little bit vairagya you gain, maybe it will happen. Understand? All this is useless, it will not work. What is the reason for it? Is a kamayesha krodayesha rajoguna samudbhava mahashano mahapapman vidyena miha vairinam. It is because of desire, it is because of attachment, aversion, that we function rationally. Wisdom doesn't come. So what is the way to bring wisdom into action? Reflection. Manana. Mananam. And mananam you can't do because we have so many things to do in life. Suppose you go into the room and say, I am doing mananam, reflection. What will your family member say? I am hungry, please make the dinner first. After that you reflect. After 11 p.m. you reflect. Morning you attended class, evening you are saying reflecting. So that is why so many other options are given for reflection. When you cannot do reflection on your own, repeated shravanam becomes mananam. You understand? Same concept. Again and again we are repeating from many directions. What is it? It is called brainstorming. Group discussion. 5 people are giving their inputs. You can't sit and think. There is no time or there is no material. But when 5 people talk about it, 5 different inputs you have gained. That is why Swamiji has designed the e-learning course. What we studied in the ashram is given to you. What else I can do? You understand? If I want to promote my business, I should not be talking to you about e-learning. Because so many people who are e-learning are not coming for classes now. Because they are fully satisfied with that. Why will I lose my customers? You understand? I am losing my clientele by endorsing people to do e-learning. I should not be promoting it. I should say, forget e-learning and all. I am teaching you, be here. I am saying, I am National Panasonic. Amit ji is, what is it? Another tape recorder. Sony. See, he has kept name already. Another person is Videocon. All the disciples are different tape recorders. The source is from whom we learn the knowledge is available. You just have to get it. What else are you working for? I'm asking you, as your brother, as your son or whatever, what else are you working for? If the resources you have are not going to be useful for your transformation, which is the only thing you can take with you, you can't take anything else with you. Punya, Papa, Chitta, Shuddhi, 3 things you take. Nothing else you can take. If you can't convert your resources to get Punya, get rid of Papa and gain Chitta, Shuddhi, what are you working for? What are you living for? Never mind. Prasad is waiting. Mananam is the way. Mananam. And whatever way you can insert that mananam into your life, start doing it. Then you will find that the alertness of the intellect, it is like a person standing next to you. It is almost like someone standing next to you. It says, Prema, don't do that. Prema, do that. Your own intellect tells you. It becomes such a living force in your life. That is the way. Until then, the mind takes over. So how is alertness of mind possible? Alertness of mind is not possible. alertness of intellect is possible. But the intellect has to be loaded. How do you load the intellect? Shravanam, Mananam, Nitidhyasana. Shruti, Yukti, Anubhuti. Shravanam means listening, studying. Shruti means familiarity. I've heard it, I know it. Mananam, Yukti it brings. Yukti means understanding. I have understood it. Nitidhyasana brings Anubhavam, experience. Not only I have heard it, not only I have understood it, that is how I am living it. So you are asking the third, how to live it? Through Manam. Anubhuti. So one who has Anubhuti lives it. One who has understanding can teach others. One who has become familiar has just started the pursuit. Understand, Prima? Hari Om.